Welcome, brothers and sisters, to Intelligent Voices Israelites. I am your brother, Yisrael Yashambaya. Today, we will be continuing on our journey where we was discussing and about the religionist Babylon and what is the emerging religion. So, we're going to continue into the study as we are now talking about, have talking about what is faith? Do you have it? Strength to faith, and Yahweh uses dreams or visions so you can understand clues and things that helps us benefit from the fruit that He provides for us. Let's go into prayer before we start. Um, oh, My time is 11:15 Mountain Time. So good afternoon to many of you that's around the world. And good morning to us who are here in Mountain Time for Vegas and also Phoenix and Scottsdale. All right, let's go into prayer. Almighty Father, I come to you before you with my whole heart. Us brothers and sisters who are gaining this wisdom from you, allowing the Spirit to manifest everything that we need um, to give us security and peace from the spiritual aspects of you who shedded the blood for all life, those who believe in your word and your truth, which is moral conduct, and giving them the eternal life by allowing their names to remain in the book. Thank you, Father, for so much that you do for our friends who are just coming into this grace, allowing them to know about your peace, your forgiveness, your mercy, your redemption, and your salvation, your transformation, your confirmations, for waking them up to be the true Israelites that they can become, the best to their ability for the time that they have. May they gain their strength to keep love and peace within their heart for their brothers, fellow brothers and sisters, manage their children better by becoming complete in you, knowing that you have the truth and you have the deliverance. May we be united as Judah, one nation, as we come in as these two olive trees. May the 1/3 hear the calling of your word. May the 12 tribes of Israel be uplifted, made better and better each day. May you command your spirit upon those who truly know you are the Most High of Most Highs. And I thank you, Father, for listening to us today. Shalom, Hamashiach. Greetings, everyone. So I am your brother, your friend, Yisrael Yashambaya. Now, today I will be talking to you about the day of, or before the day of Yahweh, my Father. Now, I have gave you many time frames. We talked about in the first video that the devil in 1999, many who are born or around that time know exactly what I was discussing that in that video about Halil, the devil, so-called Satan, was not being released into the world, but he was being bound into the world at that time. So, and we're explaining the coming tribulation, which is coming out of 24 into 25. And that second video discusses that. And then now, as we're talking about those who are persecuted by 2027, in this religion, is one word religion that has been paraded around since that time of 2013, and it's now here it is ready to be launched. Okay, so we talked about that in the second video. Now the third video, we have been talking about faith, what it's going to take for brothers and sisters just like you to come out of her, as you have heard, meaning now understanding that we're talking about the daughter Babylon. So, and knowing what is the mark and the beast that comes with this one world religion, and why there will be nations against nations accordingly as it is decreed by my father Yeshua, allowing people to see that the world have been divided for so long by the denominations. As you can see, you have Christians, you have all kind of different congregates and followers of, when should have been only one follower towards this book, right? As we did, you are those who have been with IVI understand what I'm saying. So for the newbies and the brothers and sisters who are just returning and found this channel by chance because you heard the call. So this is about faith now. So we're talking about faith in this video, the third one. And as we're continuing out here, discussing how do you escape this one world religion, or this emerging religion that's coming out of religion is Babylon, right? So let's look at Micah. We must go to the book of Micah, everyone. Hope everyone grab pen, pencil, water, whatever you need so you're not distracted, because a distracted spirit cannot hear it, right? Not all of it. So we're going to go to Micah here. Oh, I got my thing right there. 10:14 is my book. All right. Now, when you get here to Micah, we're looking at chapter 3. Chapter 3 of Micah, 6 through 12. Now, this is before the day of my father Yahuwah, your father Yahuwah, Yahweh. Before the day of what? Okay. So that might be the question in your heads. The day before Yahweh, before the day of Yahweh, right? So now here it is. We done talked about Yahweh's dreams and how young men and old men are having dreams and prophecies, right? And sayings. So now we're at a point where we're before the day of Father Yahuwah, right? Revealing to this whole evil nation before their end, because we already stated that 2037 is the complete end of the tribulation, right? And before this time, we are already removed. This is meaning Christians and everyone else who therefore refuses to put their most high any, besides any other deity. But as I have found, Hebrew Israelites, we are only ones that stand firm, steady fast on what we know, what is the truth. So we will not bow down to ever put our Most High side by side one world religion. But we have seen many other congregants of followers of others have done this, right? So now let's talk about this as we see here. Therefore, because of you, Zion, now Zion is representing to Jerusalem, shall be plowed like a field. See this? In Jerusalem, see that? The capital of Israel, reduced to rubble. See this? In the mount of the temple. Now understand what I'm telling you here. This is all after we all been persecuted, but we now have forward knowledge of why and what will be going on as we have been called to rest. That means here it is, we're called to partially rest. And as many of you know by the studies, then we are revived, okay? And then afterward, we're called into the kingdom, well dressed, right? So now it says, in the mount of the temple and to a fortress ridge. All right. So now we see that many have said, what was this one guy they keep saying? I can't remember it, but predictions have been gone and saying that the dome of the rock will be destroyed. Now we have an accurate understanding of how this war then later on, as we moving forward out of what's this 2027, at this time you're seeing the Israeli Jews who done saw the signs of the Most High completely now know that the Son of the Most High is real. They're going to actually now convert from their understanding of not believing in the Son to believing in the Most High Son, right? So now here it is. This is catastrophic, right? This is showing you, as I done showed you the map graphics, and this is showing you as we just getting started that is true. Jerusalem and Israel will be destroyed, as well as the Dome of the Rock. It would be completely leveled, right? It says rubbled, reduced to rubble, plowed like a field. See that? A field is level, right? Didn't I just tell you that? So now if you see it's level, then you can see now nations against nations now. This is a breakout war. What did my father say? As far from east to the west shall the Son of the Most High be, right? This is all before the day of the Almighty. See this? So now as we go to Isaiah, let's look at Isaiah chapter 55, everybody. Watch this. Chapter 55, because this is only allowing you to be downloaded, brothers and sisters, so y'all can actually understand what is about to happen, as you now can understand the open borders, which we also taught about that. And you might have to go into our archives and look at the video, 9 Wars. And then we got also Babylon, those archive videos as well. So you might want to go view that also after this, because as we are describing what is about to happen is basically showing you before it happens. You get in today's news that was meant for tomorrow. So understand, as we see in 55, Isaiah, as we continue, 55 verse 7, we want to look at, brothers and sisters. So now when we get here, it says what? Look, let the wicked forsake their way, and sinners their thoughts. Let them turn to the Almighty One, Yahweh, right? to find mercy. Then I just pray for us, brothers and sisters, in mercy that you have to our Yahuwah, who is a generous and who is generous in forgiveness, right? So now we're seeing that this is why the Israeli Jews that are over there now in Jerusalem, who are bowing at the Western Wall, who basically try to trick the world and say that they were the chosen ones, which we know in Isaiah 44, verse 1, Abraham had Isaac, right? And he had Ishmael. Isaac started the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Everyone knows that. And here it is clear that Father is telling us that there's a day coming for the wicked, and he's about to destroy, here it is, the temples of where, here it is, they're bowing to a Western Wall, right? So it says here, let them turn to the Almighty Yahweh to find mercy, to our Almighty Yahuwah, who is generous in forgiving. So now you understand why those who are going to flee to Petra, the Israeli Jews, because here it is, they find out that the truth that what they have been hearing and listening to have really matched up. And now here it is, they really know that the Son of the Most High have shedded light on them. And here it is, now they're serving the Most High Son. Because as we know, the Israeli Jews, they don't believe in Yahuwah, Yahamashayeh, was the son of the Almighty Yahuwah. So now this is going to prove why I said in 2027 that there will be persecution. Why? Under a religion is emerging religion, right? Because here it is, it will be formed through you, the UN, the Israeli Jews, and all Muslims. So right here it is. And then you got UN, which is part serving with the Christianity, so that they already in there, right? But what do the terms of the law says? If a true Christian is a Christian and they follow the commandments and they believe in the blood of repentance, what we just read, which is mercy, okay, then they will believe that they and know that they cannot put Yeshua or Jesus side by side with another deity, right? Because then you will basically be breaking your commandments, the same commandments that the Israelites followed, right? So one would made to look like a liar, and another one be made to look like the truth. If it was Yah, you're looking at it at judgment right now, right? Saying if a Christian went on and said, "Well, I'm gonna go on and do this because I'm saved by Jesus," and then the Israelite said, "I'm not doing that because you say you follow the same laws I do, but why is you joining?" So one would be made a liar and one would be made the truth, right, brother, sister? So now here it is. This is only an analogy of what we're talking about, because before the day of Yahweh, he's saying, I'm giving everyone an opportunity, all religions, to turn from your ways, to come back, follow the truth, hear it with your eyes and ears, right? And then therefore confess it with your heart. Because this is what he's looking at, your heart. Is your heart really serving the Most High, the light, right? So now here it is. You got to say, okay, if you can hear truth and it's clearer now, better lenses, then what you see now helps you out of your sins to get you this, here it says, to find mercy. Let him turn to the Almighty and what? Find mercy, right? To our Yahuwah, who is gracious and forgiving, right? So that means you can be forgiven, brother. You can be forgiven, sister. No matter what you done did or how you did it, you can be forgiven. But it's going to take you to have mercy on yourself first, to give yourself opportunity to realize what you see and what you hear is the truth. And then you got to eat that as fruit. And then here it is, you got to keep consuming this fruit each day, because this is the protection of that blood, right? So now this is in Isaiah 55:57, right? Let's look at Luke chapter 20. Luke chapter 20, we're going to be looking at verse 9 through 11. Hope y'all are taking notes where you may, brothers and sisters, because this is going to benefit you, your kids, your family, because here it is, it's giving you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It's helping you empower yourself to become better than yourself right now. And this is why we politic, because here it is, we come together as an assembly. So now here in Luke 20, look at verse 9, because he says, then he proceeded to tell the people this parable. See this? A man planted a vineyard and leased it to a tenant farmer, and then went on a journey for a long time, right? At harvest time, he sent a servant, right, to the tenant farmer to receive some of the produce of the vineyard, right? But they beat the servant and sent him away empty-handed. All right? Now, is that something right to do? So he proceeded to send another servant, right? But him also they beat and insulted and sent away empty-handed. That's 2 times, right? Then he proceeded to send a third, but this one too, they wounded and threw out. So what has to happen? Okay. The children are part of that same lineage from where they are being sent, right? From the owner of that land that the farmer is using or renting, right? So every time they went to go collect, what happened? None and void, right? Verse 13, right? The owner of the vineyard said, what shall I do? I shall send my beloved son. Now, this is close to your heart, right? Did my father send his beloved son into the world, right? Because he wanted you to be saved before the day of his return, Yahuwah, right? So now what we see, he says, the owner of the vineyard said, what shall I do? Shall I send my beloved son? Maybe they will what? Respect him. See this? So here it is. He don't understand that wickedness is among your land now, right? And here it is. What he says, shall I send my beloved son? Maybe they will what? Respect him. But when the tenant farmers saw him, they said to one another, this is the heir. Didn't I just say that? Yahuwah sent his son, Yahshua, right? Let us kill him, that the inheritance may become what? Ours. Because here it is. They see that the dad, he's not gonna do nothing. So we don't beat up his servants and woo. So here it is. Now he's sending the son. Now we take him completely out, and now we just completely run the place, right? Don't demons think like that? Don't people who are in one world religion, emerging religion, think like that? So he says, let us kill him that the inheritance may become ours. So they threw him out of the vineyard, and what? They killed him. What will the owner of the vineyard do to them, right? This is the question that everybody who saw it mind, right? Who didn't do nothing. These are scoffers, right? And here it is. These are the people waiting, and here it is thinking all the time, but not thinking the right way, right? So now in verse 16, he says, he will come and put those tenant farmers to death and turn over the vineyard to us. See that? People who ain't doing nothing think they deserve something, right? And here it is. When the people heard this, they what? They questioned. Let it not be so. Verse 17. But he looked at them and asked, what then does this scripture passage mean? Brothers and sisters, think about that before we continue. What did he just say? But look at them and ask, what then does this scripture passage mean? It's telling you get right, get tight before the day of Yahuwah. That's what it's telling you, bro. That's what it's telling you, sister. It's telling you to get right, get tight, because Yahweh is on the way, right? And you better be tight and right before that day. Then he continues, the stone which the builders rejected. See, all these attempts to make right came back non-involved. People are still refusing. We're seeing more people becoming less tolerant of solemn doctrine, right? So now here it is, your brother Yisrael Yeshambayah, who works with my father, who allows my father to control the body, because here it is, the spirit must be willing, right? Because he says the stone which the builders rejected. See that? Everybody is rejecting the good for the bad. But here it is, don't know that they become now refurbished when they retend themselves back onto the law of Yahuwah, right? Because he says, has become the what? Cornerstone, the starter stone to eternal life, to freedom, to non-judgment before the day of Yahuwah, to lift you up, to never lower you down, right? To give you better benefits than they therefore have no dividends. Because your heart don't have worth or value, right? And then he says in verse 18, everyone who falls on that stone will be what? Dashed. Then I say you can be refurbished. But here it is, if you reject the righteousness of this stone, of this mercy, of this peace, brothers and sisters, then you are dashed to pieces, and it will crush anyone on whom it falls, it says. So now realize, this is no joke. We see brothers and sisters being dashed to pieces every day. And now, here it is, we see the brothers and sisters of the 1/3 also being dashed to pieces, right? Because now, here it is, this dashing of pieces don't come by just one color anymore. This dash of pieces comes only by the righteousness of the command and the decree of those who have rejected it. Get dashed to pieces. Because it says it will crush anyone. That means any religion, okay, other than the righteous commandments that one should be following. It will dash you to pieces, and it will crush, okay? Crush anyone on whom it falls on, right? So this is heavyweight, brothers and sisters. This isn't no lightweight, something you can just juggle in your hand. This is heavy. Telling you to compel yourself in your flesh. Return thyself back unto the word of my son. Shalom. Because here it is, you cannot lift this burden of yourself. Okay? You need help. You need guidance. You got to have some type of peace. And here it is. This guidance got to come with it, because you're going to see this peace is deliverance, and it is real, and it believes in you. It sees you. It knows you. It hears you, and it feels you. See? And this is why Brother Yisrael Yeshambaya or your friend is allowing the body to be used to continue this, to allow you to know this is for you, brother. This is for you, sister. You got to understand that righteousness comes by the working by you. Here it is. First, knowing you need to save yourself, because here it is, you beginning to hate yourself. And when people hate themselves, they usually do things to themselves that they normally wouldn't do if they feel good about themselves, right? So now what Yah is teaching here is before the day I return, I'm giving you time, brothers and sisters. I'm sending servants your way, brothers and sisters. Because now I have filled my whole spirit up in them, because they have committed. And now you can see the commission of love, peace, happiness, okay, devotion, dedication, right, respect, okay, these moral conducts. This is what Yah is saying. Before the day I return, I'm giving you time. Clean yourself up. Now, let's look at Zechariah chapter 7. Watch this, brothers and sisters. Zechariah. Hope all is taking the notes. Zechariah chapter 7, 8 through 14. What do it says here? This says the Almighty Yahweh, just as I intended to harm you when your ancestors angered me, says the Almighty Yahuwah, and I did not relent. So again, in these days, here we go. Old law is still intact. Querflo Dollar, all these other, we are here to tell you and fix you, because here it is. The law is still intact. It just become better and spiritual, right? He says, so again, in these days, I intend to favor, here we go, Jerusalem and the house of Judah. See this? The house of Judah. Do not, here it is, fear. So now he says in verse 16, these then are the things you must do. See that? This is the commitment part, brothers and sisters. That you must do. This is still a commandment, brothers and sisters, coming from the word of Yahuwah. That you must do. Speak the truth to one another. There you go. Speak the truth to one another. Judge with honesty and complete justice in your gates. What he means by gates, in yourselves, in your homes. And here it is, among your peers, among your brothers and sisters. Because here it is, you're going to love from the heart all day, every day. Because he says, judge honesty and complete justice, right? In your gates. So now we're seeing Zechariah, and I went all the way to 17. Because here it is, let's go up to verse 8. And now I want to read all the way to 12. Watch this. He says, I will bring them back to dwell within Jerusalem. See, now the old Jerusalem is completely level. The new Jerusalem is completely ready, right? They will be my people, and I will be their Yahuwah. And faithfulness and justice. This is the Almighty Yahuwah. Let your hands be strong. See this? You who now hear these words, which were spoken by the prophets. See this? When the foundations of the house of Yahuwah was laid. See this? For the building of the temple. For before those days, there was no wages for people. You see this? Before those days, there was no wages. You wasn't earning anything. You see that? Because there wasn't no kingdom, another kingdom being built. Because here it is, this was the early parts. And here it is, this is spoken of the scrolls through the words of the prophetic word of those prophets. And now, as we see and hear here, this is the return in the modern time as it was in Zechariah's time. So now this is a hint. He's given everyone a beforehand opportunity to return from their sins and come back unto the mercy, right? So now it says, before those days, there were no wages for people and not for hire animals, right? Those who came and went were not safe from the enemy. For I sent a neighbor against a neighbor. You see this? So now, yeah. So now as we see this, brothers and sisters, now in verse 11, now I will deal with the remnant. What is a remnant? It means a small amount of people, right? Of this people, as in the former days, as in the past of their ancestors. Now, in this time, then I tell you, every generation repeats a generation just with new people being tested like gold. Okay, keep that in mind. Because here it is. Yah always gave every generation an opportunity to get themselves back in check before the return of him, right? So now here it is. We hear it all in Revelations, and we hear it now in Jeremiah, which some of you probably haven't read that book all the way yet, but I encourage you to, your friend, your brother, Yeshua, Yashambaya. So now here it is. What does it says? But now I will not deal with the remnant of this people as in former days. Verse 12, for there will be a sowing of peace. The vine will yield its fruit, right? The land will yield its crop, and the heavens will yield the rain. I will give all these things, it is, to the remnant of this people to possess, right? Then, as we see in 13, just as you became a curse among the nations, O house of Judah, see that? And house of Israel, so will I save you, that you may be a blessing. See that? Yah intended this to go further, to see that, to be tested for a blessing, right? May be a blessing. Do not hear this disobey. Let your hands or let your heart be strong. You see that? In your praise. Because Yah was here, it is praised. Everybody invoked the name of Yahuwah. And here it is here allowing us to see right now today, here at IVI Intelligent Voices Israelites, we are seeing the downloaded information as Yah is prescribing right now to us, allowing us to diagnose. And here it is to see that it is true fact that he's always with the Israelites, moving about and also crossing out those who are rejected. So now he says, continue to be obedient. They got fear there in some of your books. But do not, here it is, be disobedient. Let your hearts be strong. They say hands be strong. So now as we see this is complete. This is allowing you to understand that Yah, our Father, loves us so much. He gives you time, but he also sent prophets and servants who therefore is downloaded with his spirit, a partial of his spirit, each one of us. So therefore, we are given certain assignments to do. And here it is, not all have all the puzzles, but Yah says, I will raise up a remnant among your kindred, who therefore will be special unto me, who therefore I will just, here it is, used to burst out the things that you miss. So therefore you take it and teach it and show it to your children, your family, and be strong, right? So now this is why we here at IVI allow Father to download into us. We set aside in obedience and bear witness so that we learn with you. So now, as we have been here, let's go to Zechariah chapter 6. Let's go back a page. And I want to look at 1 through 6. Oh, no, 1 through 7. Watch this. Now, chapter 6, 1 through 7. Now, we done talked about dreams, and now here it is. We're talking about the day before Yahweh's return. Again, I raised my eyes and saw 4 chariots coming out from between 2 mountains. Now, it'll always be 2, like 2 olive trees in the garden. And 2 mountains were of bronze. You see that? The first chariot had red horses. The second chariot, black horses. The third chariot, white horses. In the fourth chariot, a dapple horses. All of them strong horses, right? I asked the angel who spoke with me, what are these? He said, and answered me, these are the 4 winds of the heavens. 4 winds of the heavens, right? Which are coming forth after presenting themselves. You see that? After coming first, presenting themselves before the Almighty Yahuwah, who created all of the earth. The one with the black horses is going towards the land of the north, and the white horse goes towards the west. See that? The dappled one is going towards the south. See that? Dapple. We'll look that up in a minute. These strong horses went out, eager to set about patrolling the earth. For he said, go patrol the earth. So they patrolled the earth. Then he cried out to me and said, see those who go forth to the land of the north, provide rest for my what? Spirit. So underline that. Provide rest for my spirit. That one that went towards the north. And then the word of the Most High came to me. So now we stop right there, verse 9. This is allowing you to see that Yah is showing a vision to Zechariah. Here it is, every event that will occur in the land. In this generation, the generation after that, and the generation after that. Only thing that have changed is the technology of man and woman, who therefore became the architects of building things and putting things together by being downloaded with the information for that skill, because all of it comes from Father Yahuwah. No matter who you might say it comes from, but it comes from my Father Yahuwah. So now realize this is allowing you to see the crowning of your skill, but here it is. Do you see the crowning of what you need now of repentance? Because here it is. He's showing these horses and it's showing destruction, right? Let's go to Revelation chapter 5. Now, Revelation chapter 5, we're going to be reviewing verse 6 to 10, right? Because visions we have talked about in this study. And here it is, 6 to 10, chapter 5. Then I saw standing in the midst of the throne the 4 living creatures and elders and of the Lamb, and a lamb that seemed to have been slain. He has 7 horns and 7 eyes. These are the 7 spirits of Yahuwah sent out. Didn't I just say that? Sent out into the whole world. So we just saw that horses represent the spiritual horses, spiritual plans of Father Yahuwah. He came and received the scroll from the right hand of the one who sat on the throne, right? When he took it, the 4 living creatures and the 24 elders, right, fell down before the Lamb. Each of the elders had a harp of gold, bowls filled with incense, which are the prayers of the set apart ones. See that? This is, here it is, being lifted up to the next level, because here it is, even as the wounded lamb, he was tended for, even in the kingdom of the Most High Yahuwah, among the set apart ones. And here it is, they sang the new hymn, worthy are you to receive the scrolls. Worthy are you to receive the scrolls. Worthy are you to receive the scrolls, and to break open it seals, and to break open it seals. For you slain and were slain, and with your blood, here it is, you purchased for Yahuwah, the Father of Almighties, those from every tribe, tongue, and nation of people, of nations. You made them a kingdom, and now through your spirit, priests for our Yahuwah, and they will reign on the earth and into the heavens. You see that? So now this is how we see one must be inspired by the word of Yahuwah, right? To gain wisdom and knowledge and understanding and a helmet of salvation, right? Because now you see, it is clear that there is a returning of the Israelites and the 1/3 at the same time. And the Israelis who are over there now at the Western Wall, who will be changing pretty soon, their tune at the same time, right? Because here it is, the ones that don't change, you already know what we done read for that, right? So now here it is. This is helping you escape that emerging religion that this whole segment is about, to see the playbook. Because I'll always say, I want to see the playbook when it's game time. I want to know who's hurt, who's well, who don't went away, and who's almost back to stay. Now realize, as we have been here in Revelations, let's go to Revelations chapter 6, 1-9. Then I watched while the Lamb broke open the first of the 7 seals, right? And I heard one of the 4 living creatures cry out in a voice like thunder, right? That means this was a frequency, loud enough to hear. Come forward. I looked, and there was a white horse. Then Daniel just tell us that. And his rider had a bow. See that? He was given a crown. Didn't I say that? And he rode forth victorious. See this? To further his victories. Now, the Pope is doing that. The Catholic Church, who therefore worship the Pope, they're doing that, right? Trying to convert those into what? Catholics. And then we also see the other half trying to do that, right? Everybody wants somebody, right? But now what do this say? When he broke open the second seal, I heard the second living creature come out, or cry out, come forth, right? Another horse came out, a red one. His rider was given the power to take peace. Here we go. Take peace away from the earth. That means here it is. No one is under this emerging religion is going to therefore be able to serve their own religion separately. It's like Nebuchadnezzar. So now here it is. You see what you have saw in Daniel, and now they have read in, Zechariah, and now as we back here in Revelations, we're seeing it right now today. This is an emerging religion out of daughter Babylon, and it clearly says, take peace away from the earth so that the people will slaughter one another. What you think nations against nations is? Because they're fighting for a one world religion. Which one's going to be the dominant religion? Okay. And this is going to be now, whoever wins, you are forced under that religion or die. And this is what we're teaching here, for you to escape with faith so you can be strong, strengthen your heart, strengthen your mind. See? And now he says, and he was given a huge sword. right? He came forward. I looked, and there was a black horse. See, these are all spontaneously. See, it's just like labor pains for a woman. This is happening right now. It's going to happen in a minute for this country. Because like I tell everyone, America have never, ever had a war, any big war in her borders. What the word says, she shall be burned by her own inhabitants, and inhabitants coming from other nations shall rule her. So now realize in verse 6, I heard what seemed to be a voice in the midst of the four living creatures. Or here it is. It said, a ration of wheat costs a day's pay, and 3 rations of barley costs a day's pay. But do not damage the olive oil or the wine. Why would that happen, huh? Because that is happening now. Inflations. They can't get import and export in good enough. It's costing more. Those containers and everything, right? So things here goes up, right? So you see that. When he broke open the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th living entity come out, or say out, come forward. I looked, and there was a what? Pale green horse. His rider was named what? Death. Haze accompanied him, and they were given authority over a quarter of the earth to kill with the sword, famine, plague, and by means of the beast of the earth. That's one word religion, one word one world government, and one world religion. So that is pushing us right there, 2027. Okay, persecution year. Because here it is. This is gonna mark within my father's time, as I say, we count by thousands, the world count by hundreds. And here it is, they still miscalculate the time of, here it is, the beginning as well. But now here it is, Father Yah is allowing you to see here through IVI how much time man and woman truly have, child and infant, okay? Because what is coming is basically what we done talked about from video 1 to now video 3, to allow you to see that it is true that all these hints, signs have not gotten many brothers and sisters attention. But hoping now IVI, since it's been created, is giving you a broader lens to see exactly what's going on without all the hype, but to get your mind right from your heart, because you're going to need to be clear to your decision. And this is going to test you like gold and find out who you truly are and who you truly for. Because you got so many people pointing up for the kingdom or for heaven, but here it is, not all of them are serving the righteous way. And they done heard the truth. So, you're going to be tested to the core of your spirit. So now realize here at IVI, we're not playing around with nobody. We're not here for the views or none of that. We're here to do exactly what Father Yah says do, teach and give this word that I command you. Who listens, who won't, it doesn't matter, because it's about you, your choice. This is not an involuntary thing. We ain't forcing no one, right? So now here it is. He clearly says in verse 10, right? No, 9, as we just, when he broke over the 5th seal, I saw underneath the altar the spirits of those who had been slaughtered because of the witness or bore witness to Jesus. See that? In Yahweh. They cried out in a loud voice, how long will it be, O Most High, true Father, before you sit in your judgment seat and avenge our blood on the inhabitants who had murdered or killed us on the earth? See that? So now this is clear information. This is not allowing us to play around and say, okay, this and that. No, this is telling you the truth, brothers and sisters. This is your time to get right, to know that there is an emerging religion all around you that's emerging. And here it is. It's going to really test you as a Christian. It's going to test you as a Muslim. It's going to test you as a Seventh-day Adventist or Jehovah's Witness. It's going to test you. And those who are basically becoming a dominant religion, forcing everyone under this and to adopt any parts of any type of other religion, it's still going to get judged too. Because if it ain't by this book of the Hebrew Bible, Israelite, then it's not a book that's worth reading or even participating in. Because as we've done shown and proved, brothers and sisters, everybody will be tested. And everybody who will even know the truth will be tested if you're not doing accordingly to the truth. So, as I continue, this is facts here. And this 2027, I'm telling you, y'all gonna see. And you're gonna understand Brother Yisrael Yashambayah was downloaded with this information to be obedient and to allow Yah to spread this gospel of truth. And you didn't take it serious. Just as many elders and Israelites, as we just read about, didn't take it serious. And you've seen what happened to them. So, let's go and back and look at Zechariah chapter 7. Zechariah, brothers and sisters, chapter 7. Look at verse 5. Because here it is. What did we talk about earlier? Many brothers and sisters are not keeping the covenant and the law of the festivals either. They're keeping Christmas, birthdays, holidays of all man, Easter, and they know nothing about the holidays that they're supposed to be keeping. So here it is. Then the word of the Almighty Yahweh came to me. Say to all of the people of the land, right? No matter where you are. And to the priests, those who were saying they have a church. When you fast, here it is, and laminate in the 5th of the 7th month, that means giving praise to Father Yah, these 70 years, here it is, was it really for me that you fasted, right? So now this is about testing, brother. This is about testing, sister. Because here it is. Yah says, I'm going to hold you accountable if you bring yourself before the throne saying that you held down Easter for me, Christmas for me, okay? Labor Day for me. If you come before this throne with that crap, off with your own head, right? In his whole spirit. Because this is why he said that, brother, sister. Have you come out of her, this emerging religion that is cultivating you? Are you still having a good time on, here it is, they call it Valentine's. But don't know the truth that a man named Valentine, who was an Israelite, was murdered, beaten down in the streets on Valentine's. And they kept the name and put candy behind Valentine's, like it was a sweet death. You need to research. Valentine is a murderous day. the red box that symbolized all the blood that was on that brother. Okay. So now look at Bloody Mary. People love back in the day, if you're old enough, will get in the mirror, just like Candyman. He said 3 times he come out and cut your throat. Who will first of all want to go in there and stand in the mirror calling on evil, right? And then you got the young sisters was telling young sisters about Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary, she came about in 1555 to 58. And she was queen of England, right? And here it is, she killed over 288 Israelites. And she got the nickname Bloody Mary. They make movies off of it. Some of you done heard of. But here it is. People have their kids going in mirror calling on Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. 3 times. She come out and kill you. So here it is. Your mind is messed up. This is what I'm saying. And if you messing with Ouija boards or any kind of other devices or any other book that's other than the Hebrew Bible, then here it is. You are in this emerging religion, brothers or sisters. If you're going to buy some flowers and some candy on Valentine's Day, I hope you heard this message. Yes, the Queen Mary, 1555 to 1558, killed 200, set them on fire, beheaded them, and did all kind of stuff to them. 288 Hebrew Israelites, so-called Africans, killed them. And she got the name Bloody Mary. Now, you can't tell me living here in America is not safe. It's not safe. So you got to see now with your eyes and read with your eyes, receive with your eyes, and know with your brain and feed your heart, right? Because we know Yah is allowing you to hear the truth. Now go to Jeremiah 25. This is evidence, brother. This is evidence, sister. Anyone that rejects evidence is a complete idiot. So now look at Jeremiah 25, all of you. When you get there, we're looking at 11 through 38. Yes, it is a read, but we're going to stick and we're going to glue ourselves because here it is. This is why Yah is taking us here in the first place. Now, in verse 11, it says, this whole land shall be a ruin and a waste. 70 years these nations shall here serve the king of Babylon. And see, they got 70, but we'll get to that. But when the 70 years have elapsed, I will push or punish the king of Babylon and that nation in the land of the what? Chaldeans. Now, if they was talking about them back then, brothers and sisters, who are basically the Caucasians from Europe and every other person and nation from Europe, then here it is. You see the same game going on as it was back then, right? Because you can see it now in Jeremiah blow up at you. Because once you do your research on the Chaldeans alone, you'll find out how much hand they had in the prophets and the Sanhedrins and seducers, right? So now and the Indians later on down the road. So, and for their guilt, here it is. And then it says the Almighty have said, their land I will turn into an everlasting waste. So what did they have to do? Every time that Father destroyed their ancient Babylon, before it can get a name, like it was on the Euphrates River, he destroyed it, just like the Tower of Babel destroyed their understanding, right? So now what we're seeing, Yah's giving everybody who are basically outside of covenant another opportunity to come back in covenant, because he's telling you this is being done for you out of mercy. Don't forget what we read, because here it is. He wants you to make a decision by seeing how bad it is, how bad it's becoming, but understanding, are you part of that system or you are fighting against the system? Because I'm a bug went in my mouth. So now, as we continue, sorry, he says, against the land I will fulfill all the words I have spoken against it. All that is written in this book, which Jeremiah prophesies against all the nations, right? They also shall, he says, serve many nations. See that? Underline that. They shall what? Serve many nations in great authorities. And I will repay them according to their own deeds and according to their works of their hand. So now you can understand why America, daughter Babylon, is starting to shake everybody. Is because this judgment is coming into her cup that they try to take out of her hand. See? Because she have now indulged in an emerging, which is now been put together, a merging religion of false peace and security. See this? A mandate upon humanity, a force upon, okay, enslavement, okay? Because it is telling you what has happened in other nations and times and generation. My Father is explaining to you in the Son, because he's saying, hear thy words, see thy truth, understand thy ways, so you can command thy truth, right? Because you will understand the map better, the map graphic of the scrolls, because it is clearly telling you, he's saying, again, I have to do this in your last days of generation. Continue in verse 15. For this says the Almighty, Yahuwah, the Father of Israelites, to me, he says, take this cup of wine of wrath. Underline that. The wine of wrath. What is our wrath? Brothers and sisters that we're trying to help. And they are basically blaspheming the name of Yah. Turning down, refusal, being not tolerant. Okay? He says, from my hand, and have all the nations to whom. He says to have all the nations to whom. So now we know in the last days, we're not just here to just try to call everybody. No, we're told specifically who to call, who to get in touch with, who to hand this to, who to say, hey, can I talk to you? You're seeing this in Jeremiah. So he says, and then therefore all the nations to whom I will send you drinks to. Verse 16, they shall drink, and here it is, and go mad, ratchet, because of the sword I will send among them, right? I took the cup from the hand of the Almighty and gave it as a drink to all nations to whom the Almighty have sent. Here it is, me. Now, as we see, Jeremiah continued, to Jerusalem, to the city of Judah, to make them a ruin, a waste, a hissing, a cursing, as they are today, right? Talking about the people, brothers and sisters. These spirits only went on to different generations to help others who was being born into a generation be either plucked out or plucked in. Because every generation, there's a loss and there's a gain. And it's also done by, here it is, different religions who are forcing their authority on their inhabitants who live within their borders, right? So now, as it is today, verse 19, Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Now we're going to Pharaoh, because now we're looking at some of the nations of where Israel was living around these borders of a making of ancient Babylon, and all these foreigner cities that was diverse, but they all lived according to different religions and statutes. Okay. So now Egypt, we know they got many monuments. To Pharaoh, king of Egypt, see that? And his servants, prince, all of his people, and those of mixed, underline that, of mixed, didn't I just tell you that? Of mixed ancestry. So now we had light-skinned, dark-skinned, brown-skinned, all around Egypt. Okay. And then, as we just talked about, we just saw a look of on the borders of the Euphrates River of, here it is, ancient Babylon, where the leader of nations came from, Abraham. So now in verse 20, it says, and he says clearly, in those of a mixed ancestry, all of their land of Ugg, right? All the kings of the land of Philistine. Then I say in the second video, all knew everyone. Ashkelon, Gaza, Ekron. There we go. That's the city right there that sits on the board on that Euphrates River. That is where ancient Babylon got formed. So now you're seeing before Abraham and after Abraham, see? And you're now understanding these were little cities surrounding the main city of Ekron. Ekron was the capital of Babylon, ancient Babylon. And this is the same Babylon that they kind of say that also Muhammad also had been through as well. But that's a whole nother story. But now realize Ekron, you see the remnant of Ashad, and then you see also Ammon, Moab, see all that? Ammonites, and all Tyre. That go the western dark Israelites. So now what your brother Israel Yeshua Yah has been telling you, and here it is, bear witnessing with you through the Father's Spirit, have only given you higher advanced learning every time. Because things that you thought you may have, Yah is basically saying, hold up, you're missing a couple things, or you have a few things out of order. So let's put it in order to show you that when we are talking about ancient Babylon, many brothers never knew where it was. They can point that it was northern parts, but they didn't never allow one to know the information that ancient Babylon is Ekron. And it had 5 cities surrounding it, and they was the only 2 major cities, either was Egypt or Ekron. And here it is, it sat on the Euphrates River, and it ran around the Mediterranean Sea as well into the Jordan. So now as you do your further research, and we also see Tyre of Sidon and the shores beyond the sea. And I just said all of that. Then we have Dedan and Timah. Underline these, if you will. Buz, all of the desert dwellers. Now we had desert dwellers just like we have today. We have the homeless population, right? So now here it is. This is just in another time, in a better existence as we move forward with time. But now as we see, it's starting to register. Dang, they live like we did. Everybody was starting to mix up and be up everywhere. Before we was against our own selves. Light skin couldn't even be around a dark skinned person. A brown skinned person couldn't be around a light or a brown skinned person. And here there's a skinny person or a fat person couldn't be around them, that type of person. That's how it was. So now here it is. It was all kind of rules and stipulations that tribes built onto themselves. And this started hatred. So, but now as we see, your brother Israel Yah here with Yahuwah in Yahweh's name, in the spirit of that has come, is showing us this, right? all the kings of Arabia, that go the Arabians, right? He says the desert dwellers. So now you see the Arabs in this, right? And now we see the fighting going on with Hamas, Gaza, Lebanon, and Saudi Arabia as well. Damascus, Israel. Now here comes Jerusalem. All of this stuff that's been prophesied that you have read in Revelations and many other books from out the Hebrew Bible is truthful. It's allowing you to see that you must understand all of this before the day of Yahuwah, because now this is the final piece of what we were discovering and talking about the emerging religion. So now this allows you to see all the way through 25. You see also Elam, the Medes. So when you get to the Medes is Iran, everybody. So that's the Iranians and all of the kings of the north. So you see what area they occupy. And far and after another, all the kings upon the face of the earth. Now you see, this is the borderline. Now we're talking America and many other Jamaicans, Nigeria, all of Africa. So now it says, after them, the kings of Sharak, and it still drinks. So now we're back now to allow ourselves to realize that there's only one worshiping Most High, brothers and sisters. That's Yahshua, Yahweh. Because now Yahweh is the Christ, which everyone refers to, which means Savior or Anointed One. So if you believe in Yahweh, you're saying you believe in the Anointed One. Even if you don't want to go by any other the names that many brothers have said. This is basically, here it is, allowing you to know Yahweh means Savior. Yahweh is also the name Abraham. Yahweh is also the name Moses knew, and so on, right? So now when we see here, this was something that must be taught about before the day of judgment, because it will be a judgment on the earth after 2037. Okay? But here it is, getting you right, brothers and sisters, so y'all can teach this right to others, so they can live right and know right that it is not that long, because the signs have now come before you to make it clear in detail of what is really going to happen, right? While all this moving around, governments and protesting all over the place, right? So now you are getting these puzzles put together, and your brother here, who is being used by Yeshua, is allowing us to both see like we got a crystal ball in our hand. So here it is. Shishayek will still drink. So that's talking about the true Israelite brothers and sisters that return, that hear the calling, that knows this time is for real, and it's time to get right and tight. Because if not, then you die, and you're a coward, right? Because here it is, you're willing to put your Most High, whatever it is, side by side or as one with evil deities. That would show you as a false worshiper, a false follower. That means you should be saying, I worship all things. Feel what I'm saying? Be a complete abomination. All right? If you're going to say you something, and then here it is, you cowered out by putting your something that's supposed to be so righteous next to something that's defiled, that you can read about and see about what they did in their culture. How could that be righteous? Putting that with something that you know, which is the Hebrew Bible, in the Most High, in the Son, who are really righteous and real, right? That'll be a foolish mistake. But anyway, now going back here to see Jeremiah 25 through 38. Tell them, verse 27, this says the Almighty, Yahuwah of the Israelites, drink, get drunk, and vomit, fall, never to rise before the sword that I will send among you. See this? Those who are rejecting the truth are basically getting destroyed if they refuse to take the cup from your hand and drink. So he's saying here at IBI, your brother, your friend, your Shimbaya, is here to give you a cup that I told him to give to you to drink, right? But if you refuse to take the cup from his hand, right, and drink, say to them, this says the Almighty Yahuwah, you must drink. Ain't that compassion, brothers and sisters? That my Father loves even the sinner so much that he want him to drink righteously, commit righteously, come out of her righteously. He says in verse 9, now that I am inflicting evil on this city. See that? Because here it is, I am inflicting evil on this. Yah says I'm allowing the influence of Halil, the devil, and Judas, the betrayer, to inflict, okay, betrayal of the doctrine of truth, as many of you are doing, and also inflict every kind of your desires that is not righteous into this world. I'm allowing that. That's what my Father said. Because I am the one that's inflicting you. Call by my name, Yahuwah. How can you possibly escape? Not calling by my name. How can you possibly escape, it says. And now we see, you shall not escape. I am calling down the sword upon all of the inhabitants of those left on the earth, says the Almighty Yahuwah. As for you, prophesizing against them all these words and say to them, the Almighty, here it is, says with a loud voice from his set apart dwelling, he raises his voice mightily. He raises it over his sheepfold, a shout like that echoes over all the inhabitants of the earth. The uproar spreads to the ends of the earth, for the Almighty Yahuwah has an indictment. Then we say indictments. When we give an indictment on someone, this is basically what we're saying. When we put an indictment on you, and when my Father put an indictment on you, we see that here it is, the indictment against, here it is, against the nations. He enters into judgment against all flesh of them. The wicked shall be given to the sword of judgment by Yahuwah. This says the Almighty Yahuwah. Look, disaster stalls. See this? Everybody thinks safe and security, because here it is coming this election. They are thinking this is a turnaround moment. Look, disaster stalls. Nations after nations. See this? You think Yah is not here with you? You cannot second believe this, because here it is. What you see, it is unlocking all wisdom, right? And it is allowing you to see what you have read in Revelations, in Matthew's 24, 4 through what? 9. Nations will be against nations, right? A violent storm is surging from the recesses of the earth on that day. So it haven't claimed yet. So this is why I'm saying we are teaching this last piece of this about this. Here it is. The religion is Babylon. And what is this emerging religion? And now I have taught you what is faith, do you have it, how to strengthen your faith. And now when you have dreams and hear this young or old man prophesize, okay? And now we're talking for the final part before the day of Yahweh return in his form with his saints, you and I, Okay. He says, now on that day, those whom the Almighty has slain will be, here it is, strewn from one end of the earth up to the other. That means everything, every nation against nation. It will be complete slaughter for those that therefore remain after the 144,000 are gone in the 1/3. And here it is. You done saw, for many of us, those Israeli Jews fleeing to Petra for 2.5 years. Okay? Because they believe now the Son of the Most High. And here it is. They probably caught the channel at IVI. That's right. To see the full truth in their own book that they have been reading for so long, and how code have now been shown with downloaded information. Teaching, showing. They will not be mourned, it says. They will not be gathered. You see this? They will not be buried. They shall be like, here it is, the dirt and mud up on the ground. Howl, you shepherds, and wail, roll on the ground. Leaders of the flock, the time for your slaughter has come. See that? All you false prophets who wouldn't change and understand Yahuwah's son was before thee, to prophesy, to give you missing puzzle pieces, and to give you the time frame of an outdated clock that you were going by, just in this segment. And give you an understanding of how every generation have been tested, just as you are going to be tested. The time for your slaughter has come, like choice rams. See, my father says, like choice rams, you shall fall. See that? Because you could have been a ram, but you wanted to be a goat. And here it is. That goat got his day. That great dragon, that beast that you followed with your goat mind, it fall, or it failed. Verse 35, there is no flight for the shepherds, no escape for the leaders of the flock. Because if you wasn't true leaders, you wouldn't be still here on the earth at this time. Now, we're talking about 2027. Going in the middle, leading up to the devastation year, because they get 7 years. And we're now showing you how close you are by the thousands, not by the hundreds that man has been counting by making you believe that you got so much time left, which is completely accurate information. And no one else, no other book have told you when. But here at IVI, we are showing you how and when. But what you going to do about it? Is you going to get ready, brother? Is you going to get ready, sister? Or is you going to be a goat? Many want to stay a goat and think that therefore they can be a sheep too. No two-headed animals will be in the kingdom. No two-headed people either. So now, as you see clearly, brothers and sisters, verse 36, listen, wailing from the shepherds, howling from the leaders of the flock, for the Almighty lays waste their grazing places. Desolate are the peaceful pastures. Don't they like to run to them big homes and their big churches? Okay. This is what you're going to see when the nations against nations, everyone. When this one world religion pops up on you, talking about prosperity and peace for the whole world, This is a mandate. From the burning wrath of the Almighty. Like a lion, he leaves his lair, and their land is made desolate by the sweeping sword in the burning wrath of Yahuwah. So now all of this judgment is by my Father in the saints. Because what's going to happen around 27 is going to be a great persecution, unlike unseen the man and those of Germany. It's going, I'm telling you, it's going to break a new world record. Death, dash to pieces, children, little infants, when this takeover religion happens, because someone going to want to be a dominant religion and say that moral conduct should be introduced along with this one world religion. With the son of prediction, want everyone to get a mark on his hand who stays under this emerging religion from the UN, from the Israelis, and from the Muslims, who basically you can say Arabs have a lot of affiliation with, okay? Just keeping it real all the way. So now, brothers and sisters, what we see here and what you have read here have told you the truth, have shown you. Let's look at Jeremiah 29, verse 10, 3rd to 31, 32. Watch this. For this says the Almighty, only after the 70 years have elapsed for Babylon, underline that, Babylon, because I want you to be able to go back to this to read. This will show you how outdated you were by Prince Mav, 1999 and all of that crap. Will I deal with you and fulfill for you my promise to bring you back to this place? For I know well the plans I have made in mind for you, says Yahuwah. Plans for your welfare and not for woe. So to give you a future of hope, underline future of hope. When you call me and come and pray to me, underline pray to me, I will listen to you. When you look for me, you will find me, underline find me. Yes, when you seek me with all your heart, underline all your heart. Okay? I will let you find me, says the Almighty Yahuwah. And I will change your what? Your spirit. It got locked. It will change your situation. I will gather you together from all the nations spiritually and all the places, every city in America and outside of it, to which I have banished you. Underline, banished you. And bring you back, here it is, underline, bring you back to the place which I have exhaled you. As for your saying, the Almighty Yahuwah has raised, here it is, up for us. Here it is, underline raised. And then it say, us prophet here in Babylon. See that? So now you understand why many brothers and sisters are waking up. I gave you the time math from 2001, adding 12 years to it, give you 2013. But now you want to look from 2001 to everything that happened all the way to 2013. And then you can see everything from 2013 that what happened. Then that shows you the short time. Here it is for the coming for the Israelites, so-called African Americans, to start waking up as brothers was starting to be downloaded with Yah's spirit, my Father, in 2013. And then it started all the way to 2025, and now as we go on beyond. And now we're going into the tribulation, which coming in from 24 to 25. And here it is. it shows you another 12 added to that 25, give you now also, what's that, 37. But when you go from 25 to 27, 2027, that gives you the 7 year in between gap time, which is by leading to the persecution. So now, as we continue here, this is clearly letting you see that 10, right? Yeah. Just left 10. So now, as I'm continuing here in verse 16, this says the Almighty Yahweh concerning those who rule, who are sitting on David's throne. Underline that, sitting on David's throne. Now you see Jerusalem now coming into effect with Benjamin Netanyahu. And I had put that in my song, Daylight. So if anyone have ever heard that song, you'll see me explaining everything that was going to happen or come to happen when I put that out. So now, when we see sitting on David's throne and all the people living in that city, right? Your kinsmen who did not go, underline, did not go with you into exile. See that? This is a separation. It's going to be people who are under this emerging religion that I'm talking and telling you and showing you as I bear witness in the spirit of my Father Yah, to allow you to see the time, get you caught back up, brothers and sisters, to show you what is finna go down as we have since we've been a channel here. Anyone checked out all our archive video will get a ton of information. So now realize he says, with you into exile. So there's going to be those who bobbing at the wall who therefore know they are basically in a plan with the devil. And here there's Jerusalem and Israel will clash, and that will bring on more with Damascus. You'll start hearing that pops up around Tel Aviv. And now here it is in verse 17. This says the Almighty Yahuwah, I am sending. It is underlined that I am sending them. It is sword. It is famine and pestilence. So now this is going on, brothers and sisters, and over there in these third world countries. And by sanctions from her, daughter of Babylon, I will make them like rotten figs, so spoiled that they cannot be eaten. I will pursue them, here it is, with the sword, famine, and pestilence, and make them, here it is, a rejection to all and any kingdoms of the earth. See this? A curse, underline a curse, a desolation. Then he say, daughter Babylon will be desolated, right? So now in a rejecting and a disappointment to all the nations, a reproach, okay, a hissing, among which I have banished them. I have what? Banished them, underline that, brothers and sisters. Because he says, because they did not what? Listen. They did not what? Listen to my what words? Underline that. The Almighty Yah, even though I kept sending them, underline it, I kept sending them servants, my prophets. Your brother Yisrael Yeshambayah. Okay? So now realize he says, but they would not listen to them. And as we continue, he says, as for you, listen to the word of the Almighty Yahweh. All you exiles, underline that, all you exiles. Ain't people coming from different borders, coming into the borders from different countries? So what do my father say? I need you now, since you have found my sons, and here it is, here it I be I, and I need you to listen to them, because here it is, you come out of exile, a country that you are exiled, and here it is, you have run now from east to west. Now you see that I need you to listen, all you exiles whom I send away from, here it is, it could be Jerusalem or any other country of Babylon. Because remember, ancient Babylon didn't start in America. Okay? Keep that in mind. He says, this is what the Almighty Yahuwah, the Yahuwah of the Israelites, say about Ahab and Zodadiah, son of Manasseh, who prophesied lies, underline that, who prophesied lies to you in my name. See this? We have brothers like that, sisters like that. I am handing them over, here go, Nebuchadnezzar. Now we got the son of prediction. The dragon is passing his power over to his son of prediction. How did he do that? Because he got let out for a short time, and they all know it through Kern, that black matter, right? And it was enough just to give them another direction of what and who they will pick for the future as it remains out, going out. So now you see what was then is talked about now. So here it is, Father wants you to see this. He says, who prophesies lies? Who is a boaster right now in campaigning? To you in my name, I am handing him over to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, who will what? Kill them before your eyes. Who is he killing? All that contest against the one world religion, serving the statue. So now it had to be a plan before it was launched, right? So now everybody's getting caught up like soda to the phone. Because here at IBI, my father has downloaded this information for you, brother, for you, sisters, to see. So that way you don't be outdated with your information by how short of time. And here it is, what you need to be showing people and teaching people. Because we all going to be held accountable for who have heard the truth and not shared the truth shall be held accountable. So he says in verse 22, and because of them, this curse, underline, this curse will be used, underline that, by all the exiles. See that? All those exiled out of the country will be used on who? Daughter Babylon. So now realize, here it is. But here it is. We're talking about the ones that want to be dominant themselves. Because you just missed a moment ago that those who was exiled was also exiled from their own people. Then they was exiled again from another people. And now here it is coming into the last days. There's going to be one religious power proven to be dominant, which would be a false domination because it'll be involuntary. See, because it'll be enslaved. So now when we looked up those words yesterday, you found out what enslaving means. So now it says this curse will be used by all the exile of Judah. Where would they be? In Babylon, daughter Babylon. May the Almighty make you like Zedediah. See that? And Ahab, whom the kings of Babylon roasted. You see this? In fire, because they have committed an outrage in Israel. Underline, committed an outrage in Israel. Committing what? Adultery. And here it is, badgering their neighbors' wives, and alleging to change my name, things I did not command. You see that? And so now you get Jesus, Lord, God, Allah, Buddha, and all this, right? So now Yah says, I'm giving you all an opportunity to not be in defilement because I am on my way. And my sons and daughters and my sons among your kindred who I have raised up to give you missing, unheard, but have been seen truth. Here it is. This is your calling now to come back, to now realize what you are to be teaching, what you are to be given, and what you are to change for your own self. Because it is showing you not only will all of those religions die in the end by my judgment, you need to understand not to be caught up in her, to be made pure yourselves without judgment in you. Because here it is, you are hearing the truth. You're seeing it with your own eyes, and it's being broke down as clear and basic It's possible. So now he says, also those who allegedly changed my name, things I did not command. I know I am a witness. Didn't I say I am a witness, brothers and sisters, to the Almighty Yahuwah? And he says to Shema and Nelamit says, this says the Almighty Yahuwah of Israel, because you sent documents in your own name, see that underlines your own name, to all the people of Jerusalem. Now, we just said Jerusalem and the Israeli Jews is not the chosen people of the book. The chosen people of the book are the returning Israelites that's coming under Yahuwah's calling, his spirit. And here it is. It is allowing you to see that no one is left out. So now he says, to the people in Jerusalem, here it is, to Zavan, the priest, son of Manasseh, and to all the priests, saying, it is the Almighty who has appointed you priests in the place of the priest of Zodiah. And then Zodiah, to provide officers for the house of the Almighty, that you may confine in stocks. And here it is, any madman who poses as a prophet. Why then have you not rebuked Jeremiah? You see this? Antioch, who poses a prophet among you, who poses as a prophet among you. See that? This is the same thing that happened with Moses, right? For he sent this, keep going, sent us the message to us in Babylon. It will be a long time. Build houses to live in, plant gardens and eat their fruit. When the priest Zephaniah read these letters to Jeremiah, the prophet, the word of the Almighty came to Jeremiah, send to all the exiles. This says the Almighty concerning Shemiah and Nehelamit, because Sheamiah prophesies to you, although I did not send him. See that? Underline this. Although I did not send him, he has led you to rely on a lie. You see that? And this is why I tell my brothers and sisters, you must be without blemish. Because here it is. It's not about how much you have in you. It's about your mustard seed, brother, sister. How well are you trying to grow that? Because here it is, as long as it lays dormant without no nature or help, water and substance, fresh soil, then here it is, proper lighting and temperature, then here it is, your mustard seed ain't going nowhere. This is what Yah is saying. Return. Understand that you don't have that long. Will you be a scoffer just standing around with blemish? Therefore, this says the Almighty, I will punish, here it is, in any people. I'm removing the names here to get the point out. And his descendants, these offsprings, these so-called Africans, and also in any other Israelites or any mixed tribe of ancestry. He's saying, here it is, none of them shall dwell among this people to see the good I will do for this people, the people that return to the truth. You won't be where we are. You won't be harvested. He says, I will do for this people because he preached rebellion. Here it is, against the Almighty. So you got two groups of people, those who want to stay in righteousness and those who want to die without it, but know that it exists, but don't want it. So that have to be a saddened person, right? That has to be a person that don't know the day of Yahuwah, that is about to arrive and will arrive and coming to become at the completion of mankind. Because here it is, most of us brothers and sisters who of them came out of them churches and therefore been called around that time, 2013, and been hanging tough in search of rediscovery information and have been received by Yahweh Spirit. You know what we're talking about. And here it is. This extra is just helping you grow as an Israelite as well. Because here it is. We have Yah on our side, not the devil, not Judas. Okay? We have the Son. Okay? So now realize, brothers and sisters, let's look at Revelation chapter 6 and verse 10. No, chapter 6, verse 10. What do he say? He said, they cried out in a loud voice, how long will it be? Right? Set apart, true, Almighty Father. Before you, see, set apart. We teach on that. When you see the word holy, cut that right out. Speed bump it. Go over it. Set apart. How long will it be set apart in true Almighty Father? See that? That means no one world religion. If you were Jesus or whoever, how could he be side by side another deity? Huh? And you so loyal to worship only him, the Most High Father, and him alone. How could you be doing that when you put and serve him in a one world religion? That's testing your faith. That's the devil that's showing you, here it is, you ignorant. Because here it is, you're trying to save your life and you're going to lose it in the end. Really lose it. So now he says, before you sit in judgment and avenge our blood on the inhabitants of that earth, each of them was given a white robe. Underline that, brother, sister. A white robe. And they were told to be what? Patient. Underline, to be patient. While a little while longer until the number, underline, until the number was filled, underline that, of their fellow servants, underline that, brothers and sisters, but they got brothers, who were going to be killed as they had been. So you see what I'm talking about. The 144,000 of Judah who already up on it, we will not put or serve or sign no paper or no document to no alliance of no covenant with no other but Yahweh. And there will basically show the 1/3 resistance against that is false brings death, but it brings eternal life too. And this is what they're going to need. Because here it is, as it has said, there are brothers and sisters who were going also to be killed as they had been. That's Christians. That's anybody else. Because this religion means one religion under Hillel, the devil, and the beast, and the false prophet. So it's going to test all religions with this document, a mandate. And it's going to hold a commitment to kill you, to imprison you. Matthew 24. Revelations, Matthews, right? Telling you. This is all before the day of Yahuwah. Your chance to get right and tight. Make sure that here it is, you having instructions from good Israelite brothers, and therefore you put out the production of learning, committed to it. Because here it is, without the commitment, there cannot be no instructor to give instructions. But those who are false in their truth, because it's no truth at all, because it's false. See? Never let the devil or let no one trick you, brothers and sisters. Be aware of sound doctrine. I can tell you that. Because we all done walked up on this pre-hell earth going through it. Some of us come out, some of us don't. Some of us hear, some of us don't. Some of us see, some of us don't. It's always been that way. And as you see in the doctrine of your Hebrew Bible, your book, or your phone that you behold, you can see that Yah is here helping you understand what is about to happen, what you might have missed. It's good to know history, where you're from, where you're at. But do you know where you're going, brothers and sisters? Can you see a future, a hope? Huh? Because if you can't, then that means you're hanging out with the wrong people. And that's wasting time and your time. Okay? Benefit, brother. Benefit, sister. Because we grow together and we stay together, right? You got to be loyal, got to be dedicated, got to be devoted, and you got to be able to be ready. Like we say, be fat. And when we ask a brother or a sister, hey, brother, hey, sister, you want to be fat? They'll look at you like, not the way you thinking, sister. Not the way you thinking, brother. Talking about fat, faithful, available, teachable. That's the fat we're talking about. Because you have to be available to be teachable, right? And you got to have faith to believe in something that you see that you want to believe in, right? So therefore, you need details, and that comes from instructions. Do your research before you commit. Okay. So now let's back to this thing. Let's show out, because here it is. Yah wants you to know out, because here it is in Revelations chapter 6, and as we seen, we're going to look at 12 through 17. Then I watched while he broke open the sixth seal. Underline that. And there was a great earthquake. The sun turned as black. Now, this is talking about them who remain and stay, brother, sister. If you think the world going to go on past 2037, then you're in the clouds. Because I assure you, after this persecution, it only gets thickened. So now realize, and there was a great earthquake. The sun turned as black as sackcloth, and the whole moon became like blood. Now, you just had the last moon blood period in April 8th, the marking of the chapter of a season being fallen off, going into now the final generation of seasons. The stars in the sky fell to the earth in unripe figs, shaken loose from the tree in a strong wind. Then the sky, it says, underline the sky, was divided like a torn scroll curling up, and every mountain and island was moved. Now underline mountain and island was moved. From his place, the kings of the earth, the nobles, the military officers. So here it is, the military and those who are of the church, the rich and the powerful, right? Who were the powerful, and every slave. There goes slave. Now, why we underline that in every slave? Because these people refused to become not slaves. They wanted to stay a part of the one world emergent religion that became a religion and a codified hell for them, right? So here it is. He says, in every slave, and then also you see right there, free person. Free person represent a person that has a choice to commit not or commit to. So here it is. They were free, but then they became ensnared. Remember, we looked up the word ensnared. So that means this person used to be free, even though you see in every free person, they put that to confuse you. It's supposed to be ensnared person. So here it is. They gave their will to the beast by gain for prosperity. We talks about the Nasari program. One must go to our archives of our video to see what we're talking about. Because here at IVI, we are showing you what my father has told us to show you. So now, free person, here it is, hid themselves. That means shame themselves. Because they were so much thinking that they was on the winning side and realized that here it is, they were on the losing side and they could have been free, but they chose to be lost. So now here it is, they had shame. They hid themselves basically in their emotions because they knew the truth, but it was too late. And here it is, it says in caves and among mountains and crevices. So we know, and that's basically within themselves, the shame of themselves. And then it says, fall on us and hide us from the face of the one. Now underline, from the face of the one. Hide us. See that? This is why we are teaching this before the day of Yahweh. Because here it is, these type of people didn't believe what we're trying to give you. Today news that is meant for tomorrow. And here it is, no one is understanding that, just like certain generations and every generation after those generations. Because now you're getting a map graphic to see that here it is, from the face of the one who sits on the throne, and from the wrath, underline the wrath of the Lamb. See that? Because the great day, underline the great day of their wrath has come. Judgment, brothers and sisters. And who can withstand it? Nobody, brothers and sisters. So now here your brother Yisrael Yeshambaya, as I am with my father, Hamashayayek. Here it is, allowing you to see, to understand your time is short, brothers and sisters. It's time to choose. It's time to follow. It's time to gain. Because here it is, you belong as long as you fight for your life to know that you have one. A lot of people don't even know they have a life. Okay? So don't be lost in the sauce. Understand you got to be like Bernie Mac. Know who you're with. Because here it is, it's going to allow you to know you're going to make a better choice now. As time constantly get worse, as you hear and see with your eyes and with your wallets, it's going to be put to a test. Will you be able to stand the test? That is the question. Will you love the Father who created all mankind? Or will you love the imposter who is deceiving mankind from their reality, their truth, with devices, headsets, okay, taking you into another realm? How long will you want to stay that way, brothers and sisters? Being afraid, feel like you denied access to the kingdom of heaven by your thoughts and by your persuasions of those who are around you. How long will you stay sitting down, then standing up for your dignity, realizing that you must see the light soon before it bleaks out, because you have chosen to hang around with those who are completely in darkness? There's always an answer, and there's always a question to the answer. So realize that we're going forward, not backwards. We're not standing still when we steadfast. We're never out of word, but we always can be out of time. And that is so coming, my brothers and sisters. Until next time, I'm your friend, your brother, Yisrael Shambaya. May you go in peace and be in peace. Shalom, shalom.